Hello, Anthony, Lynn, and Lee. How y'all doing?
Good
All right.
morning.
Sorry, we John and I got to talking and lost track of time. Sorry to keep you waiting. So, as always, here's my sidekick and co-host, Mr. John Linton, aka John C and E or C and E I John, whichever way you want to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
usually do the C and the I first.
Hey, race fan, welcome, 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 welcome.
And of course, today I'll have another short session because, yeah, I
Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate it.
had to get a job.
Yeah. That's funny how the
That's the way
jobs
it
get in.
goes.
I'll add my second screen to the mix here. I don't have any trains running, so I probably won't leave the screen up. And the reason being that I don't have the trains running is, I think this is the one. I don't have my glasses on. I got a bad switch here. All right, this is an old. Did I say old? Switch. Hello, love pugs. Welcome. Hey, hi. In answer to your comment, to my comment, yeah, I never would have expected that short-based loco to be the one causing you issues. Normally, it's going to be a long-based one. Anyway, unless the wheels are out of gauge. So, but anyway, that's an old Atlas snap switch, one of the cheapo ones. And if I go get it, I'll show you. Well, I'll show you over here. The blades or the points on it are thin and they're bent blades. They're not solid, and there's really no indentation into the rails for the point rails to slide into. So it's a old piece of crap Atlas snap switch. So that takes that one switch takes away two of my three main routes. So I only have the internal on phase one operable right now. So anyway.
And Steve, did you install that when you did your phase one?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's
And that was early on in phase one. I soon after installing that one, I switched to Pico turnouts, which I've only had one issue on a Pico turnout, and it dealt with one of the frog rails coming out, and I didn't realize it. I kept the rail in one spot, and I'm going, "What the hell?" It was because the rail was gone. So anyway, which kind of gave me a segue here into my first mail call, which was a Pico SL 95. Let me switch my monitor. My camera. Pico SL 95, which fits almost perfectly into that gap. I'll take it out and show. I'll switch back to that other one. Let's go back here. All right, and as you can see, I've already Dremeled and taken this, cut this free, and this piece of wood under here, that was to mount the tortoise or snail to. Okay. So the switch, which is, and when I cut back here, I cut back on the switch. All right, you can see normally the rails would come out much further. Okay. And I cut it back this way on purpose because I want to slide the switch back some, like that, and realign these rails to here. Okay, and I'll have to cut away here because you can see it's foam, and the same thing over here. But I'm going to use a plywood base underneath the whole switch. One of the issues behind that switch going bad was it's on a double incline. In other words, there's 2 points going into the switch. There's a slight grade change. Coming out of the switch, there's a slight grade change. And that's not real good. Plus, there's a little bit of a twist to it. And thus, I had it all shimmed up and everything. It worked fine for 2 years.
Yeah.
But it was time to the heat in here got it out of whack again. So I went ahead and pulled it out.
Yeah, I'm a little warm today here in Middle Tennessee, but nothing like what you guys have been.
Well, when I get this thing replaced, all right, it'll be somewhat immune to further difficulties. All right. So,
because the wood will
hey,
be more
Mr.
stable.
Generator. Yeah. That little piece of plywood set on the foam, the whole thing would twist and so forth because it wasn't a solid base for it. By putting that wood in and having it extend beyond each end of the switch, will add a little bit more stability to it.
Let's hope.
Yeah, that should.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
will it add enough? I don't know, but it'll add more than what it had. So,
Mm-hmm.
what I'll have to do is I'll have to going back to that switch again. I'll have to get out my spray bottle and water down the ballast on each side so that those tracks will pull up and I can change the alignment on them. Now the internal or lower one on the right side will require more, and I may even have to cut a little more track out and add in a longer section to make that radius change work.
Are they the Steve that you're talking about, the one that's the turnout rails side, the right side of that turnout, correct?
Right side of the turnout, correct.
Yeah. Not the
The
track
lower
on
one
the
of
bottom.
the turnout, not the lower track. No. Lower
Okay.
track on the bottom doesn't change.
Okay.
So,
I knew what you meant, but
it
wanted
is
everybody
fine.
else to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was one of my mail calls. Was getting that switch, and I did. As you can see, I did some of the preliminary work, and I'll do a tip of the day. I'll video the sequences, and hopefully, as the weather starts to cool off some more, I'll get back to my weekly tip of the days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we missed those.
That's the game plan. Yeah.
And then you were on vacation so much.
Plus, I want to do more. Yeah. Go on a couple weeks, and then I had some other commitments and going on. It's just been a busy summer, like everybody else. Summer is not really conducive to model railroading. But the other things I've been doing during the week is I've been. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to mention Lynn's finally back home. What? 3
Lynn was
months?
gone a lot longer than I was.
Yeah, it seemed like
At
3
least.
months.
At least it seemed like it. Definitely seemed like it. Lollygagging around the Rocky Mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I'll get to do that some year. Of course, I think Lynn's a lot older than I am, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I told you the story, but we were the original Griswolds traveling from Chicago in our 1957 Oldsmobile station wagon to the 1960, I think it's 62 or 63 World's Fair up in Seattle. and with the luggage rack, and camping, the whole 9 yards. And I've always remembered that, even though at my young age it made such a great impression.
Mhm.
And so I've always wanted to take my wife, and I wanted to take the kids too. But and I had it scheduled once, and then the company I worked for had a strike, and I was on strike duty and couldn't go. And so here a couple of years ago, I took them all to Colorado. But I'd really like to get them all up to Yellowstone. Now, my middle daughter, she's gone to Yellowstone twice in the last 3 years on her own. She just goes and backpacks around Yellowstone for a week.
Yeah, let's see. My headphones are going dead. Let me plug them in.
So anyway, one of the other things I've been doing this week, as you and I were discussing, John, was, I've got a year and a half's worth of mini prints. So I got out the last maybe year's worth and have started painting them. I got, let me change the camera. And some of our favorite people. I got Plumber on his skateboard. And then I've got Rick Bailey in his tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is John Vaticola. I'm not sure. This camera. And this. Where do you? Oh, no. Where do you go? Oh, this guy here. This is one of John's friends that goes all around with him.
With him, yeah.
And then I got, here's Alvin, another one of the West Coaster guys. And of course, can't forget Tom and his bag of Doritos.
He is holding a bag of Doritos?
Yeah, definitely is.
Okay.
I think this is Sparky, I think. Not sure. And I got Heath, but I can't. I may have done him wrong. Well, I think this is Heath. That or the other one was Heath, and this is Sparky. I don't know. And then of course we got Bernard, Dr. Mini-Me.
Yeah.
With a shrinking gun. And there's some more. This may be Sparky here. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell when they're that small. Get out your magnifying glass. Yeah.
Especially with a crappy camera. And I got 3 carolers here. I'm tempted to cut away the songbooks and just use them over at the cold storage, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not done with the donkeys yet.
Uh-huh.
But I got the young lovers there too.
Hee-haw.
Of course, I got the dime store car ride. And there's just all kinds, the welder generator for construction site, and again, I got to do the washes on these. So the card there. I don't know who this is supposed to be. I don't know. It may be Cindy, the super secret producer with a pail. I'm not sure. And there's another guy with a telescope. I forget who he is.
Yeah, that's one of the over.
Then I got the guys. Right? Yeah, I've got some over the edge guys. I've got some workers, railroad workers. I got 5 of them. I got here's one of the over the edge guys. And then I got 4 of these icing
Mm-hmm.
station loaders.
Probably need a few more of them for that big
And
ice house you have.
Yeah, I'll start with those 4 and go from there. And of course, the model railroad, I got that. Who's texting me now? Oh, it's Karen.
Joe said he gave Tom the bag of Doritos before he got scanned. So we can thank Joe for Tom having his Doritos.
Authenticity.
Yes.
I got garbage cans and all just tons of stuff littering my desk here. I'm trying to get enough. I had a couple St. Bernards, another dog, and I got dead cats and rats and deer, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, some of those animals are real fun to
bears.
Yeah.
Bears, in Chicago. So what I'm going to do with them is they're going to be escaped from Brookfield Zoo.
Ah.
And roaming the tracks. That's the storyline behind them. Okay, thanks, Lee. Please do. So, I got somebody requesting some information from me. So
Well, the only thing I've gotten done this week, last week I showed the Oxford cars that I was getting, and I was thinking about, well, I want people in them. Well, the Oxford cars are simply held together by screws up through the bottom, so you can disassemble them real easy. And the interiors come out separately, and I've gone in and started painting seats. And I ordered, which won't be here for a couple weeks, 200 seated figures, because I probably have 50 to 75 Oxford cars that I need to put people in. So I'm starting to work on that. I was discussing with Steve. I don't know how much I'll repaint them because you're really not going to be able to see them in there too well, other than just knowing that there's a person in there. So it may not get a lot of attention to painting. Maybe from the shoulders up, I may do, but it's something. I'm sure I'm going to have to do a lot of carving up to even get them in there. At least the driver behind the steering wheel. What are you looking for?
Paint.
Oh, okay.
My concrete colored paint. I got those trash cans and what are they, 4 trash cans to paint.
Mm-hmm. And both Steve and I have already got our mini prints for the month. And if you're a member of the Box of the Month Club, you'll notice that you got a pickup truck that used to be the one that was on blocks. And I mentioned to Bernard, why don't you produce that with wheels on it? And I'd probably buy quite a few of them like that. So this month we got the truck with the blocks taken away, and then we got 4 rims and tires to go on them.
And a pallet of bags.
Mm-hmm. And or buckets or
cement or whatever you want to make them. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it was good to see that Bernard does take suggestions from us. and I will buy quite a few. He said once he gets back from his trip down to Texas that he will be putting them on the website for purchase. Got an email from him
Yeah,
after
there's a fountain.
and
In the month was there.
And some more animals.
Buckets, a tent, foxes, a second pallet of bag goods. So
Yeah, and the one, well, that's the bottom. Yeah, bag goods. So nice, and
I was right after the live stream last week.
a camping tent.
Yeah, I said that. Camping tent.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. But yeah, it was nice to get. I'm glad he took that idea from me and went with it. I know Steve keeps saying he wants a baby carriage. He needs it for the train station for an event in a movie. So maybe eventually Bernard will make a baby carriage.
The Untouchables, so I can
Yeah.
have the Untouchable scene with the baby carriage and the shootout in Union Station, because Chicago Union Station is where it was filmed.
Yeah, and they're still having shootouts in Chicago all over the place.
Those are primarily on the south side.
Well, yeah, but you could put a shootout scene in just about any section of your layout there.
Well, depends on the years, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to have to go ahead and get off of here. Got to head out to my wonderful work
All right,
job.
John.
And sorry I can't stay longer. I really do miss being able to be on for the whole show each week. But yeah, I got to make some money.
One more item for my mail call.
Okay, very good. I'll watch the repeat and see what that final thing was. But I want you all to have a good day and happy railroading. Take care. Bye now.
Later, John. And I'll bring my back up my other camera set. So there we go. All righty. Now, one other thing I got. All right. I've been talking about lighting all of these Athearn passenger cars. And so I finally went ahead and I bought the circuit boards, which consists of a capacitor and a bridge rectifier, okay, and a resistor for the little power indicator light. So you from the trucks, you wire to the AC side of these circuit boards. And then you run from the DC side, the plus and minus, to the strip lights that'll run down the ceiling of the car. Now, I'm still trying to find affordable interiors. I may just skip the interiors and not do them, or do them at a later date. And so, two things I'm still missing is I am missing the brass tubing that will go over the axles. In other words, I'll take the wheel set off, then I will take one side off. I don't know if you can see that or not. This hat, probably. Anyway, take one wheel off, slide the brass tubing over, and then connect the wire to the brass tubing for the lead up to that circuit board. Okay. Now, these wheels won't work. Okay, because they're not metal axles. Got to have metal axles to do the way I'm talking about doing. All right, and then you can see this bends and stuff. That's why I've got 100 36-inch wheels, and have started replacing those, and they are metal axle. Okay, Intermountain brand. So I need tubing, and I don't want to order it on the internet, even though I've taken my caliper, all right, and measured what the diameter is of these axles. The internal. Whenever you buy something that gives you a diameter, is it the external, or especially on tubing, is it the external diameter that they're giving you, or is it the internal diameter they're giving you? So I actually want. There's a strike going on at the retirement railroad. Need metal axles, Rick, to pick up the electricity for the lighting. Okay, it won't pick up on plastic. All right, when the wheel sets, one side's insulated, one side's not insulated to the axle. Okay, so you can have one. Actually, I'm going to have both axles on one set of trucks picking up one rail. The other truck, both axles, will pick up the other rail, the other power. Okay. Yes, hi. It is for the lights in the coaches to feed these circuit boards. I'll take one out. And I bought 10. I think 10 of these little circuit boards were $10 or something like that. You know, and you gotta watch who you're buying it from. If you buy from China, it might take you a week, but you get more of them for the price, for the same price. Some people were charging $10 for 3. Some people were charging $10 for 5. Well, these were $10 for 10, but you had to wait for them. Yeah, I'm not hot on those, Rick. I don't like wipers, especially on the wheels, because it picks up all kinds of lint and stuff, and it's such a limited point. All right, they can foul very easy. I'm having that issue on my little Walters Hustler switchers, and I'm constantly pulling them apart and cleaning them. The idea with using the tubing over the entire axle is a larger pickup, all right, and then duplicated on the other axle, on the other axle as well, and then having the capacitor, all right, should provide for a flicker-free running or lighting, which, unlike my Kato bi-level passenger cars, those flicker all the time because they're not set up that way. Okay? So, but that's the idea of the tubing, giving a broader range, and then duplicate it with so it's from both axles, instead of a wiper that's 1 point on one wheel, and then if you duplicate it, it'd be 2 points, all right, on the two wheels. But you get a lot more redundancy from the tubing. Yes, the capacitor, bridge rectifier, and the capacitor are included. Hey, Gus, welcome, buddy. But that's coming from the safety field, like fire protection and so forth. Redundancy matters. Okay. If something was going to go wrong, it will go wrong. And if you build in redundancies, you don't have the problems, or you don't have near as often. So, and that's true too, Lynn. And I had wipers. My Penske cars came with lighting, and they had wipers on the axle, and it was dual wipers on each axle. And there's so much drag. The cars going around 22-inch radius turns would straight line and flip over sideways. So I didn't want that. All right. Tubing will not, as long as the tubing's loose, okay, there'd be little to no drag. Well, there's always drag, but very minimal drag. Because you're looking at the pressure that makes the contact between the tubing and the axle is gravity. Whereas on a wiper, you have the spring tension. All right, coupled with whatever the wiper's made of, the friction loss from that. So, and you can always squirt in a little graphite into that tubing, and reduce it further. So, not my first rodeo, although this is new for me. I've seen variations of it before, and it's by far the best solution I've seen. We'll see. It won't add too much drag. That's why I want to actually go see the tubing versus rely on the measurements of the caliper, so that I can visually see that the tubing's big enough. Now, the one thing I will have to do is I will have to, on the insulated side, the Intermountain cars, the insulator, the plastic insert around the axle, is much thinner than a Bachmann or a Walthers brand metal wheel set. So the one thing I will have to do is I'll have to add a KD gray fiber washer. I think I have some somewhere. I got the reds, which are number 208. It's number 208. I got 2 packs of those. The gray insulated washers are 209s. I better order another bag because I only see 3 of them in that bag. So, but I'll put that on as well to keep the tubing from shorting out. Yeah, you don't want the tubing running wheel to wheel. Okay, as you're talking about watching out for, you definitely want a gap on each side. And on one side, the insulated side, like I said, I'm going to use one of the gray number 209 KD fiber washers. That'll also help eliminate the problem. So this is one of those projects I've been talking about for a year, and there's so many other things to do. I saw these at a reasonable price, and so I picked those up so that I'd have those. 10 of them is enough to do almost 2 of my trains. So my passenger trains are 7 cars long. 1 car is a baggage typically, and 1 is an RPO that may or may not need light in them, at least maybe not to begin with. So that's where we're at with that process. So what's everybody else up to today? I can go back over and talk about that other switch back there as well. There's so many other things that have been going on. Like I said, I've been painting. Yeah, a little. Use an assembly line concept. Paint everything that needed one color. Then come back, paint the next color, paint the next color. And it's basically taken me all week. Well, since last Friday when I started, to get to the finishing point on some of these pieces. So, one nice thing that turned out is all the hubcaps. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I used my chrome, my mirror chrome pins to do those. And it turned out really good. Of course, these will be hanging on the fence over at the junkyard. So. And I'll show you the difference between silver and chrome. The slide, the mini print slide, now it's painted silver. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead on the slide portion. I'm going to go ahead and use the pin. Just on the part where the kids slide it down, because we know that the butts are polishing the metal. All right, hi. Another video for the yard. Use the bigger felt tip. Bigger. For those who don't know, my wife had her second knee replacement this week on Tuesday, and she's finishing up her physical therapy there, her home visit physical therapy. So, Lynn, I do that all the freaking time. I'll tell you a better one. I put some stuff in my safe so that they'd be safe. All right. Now, I did remember that. The problem is the lock went out on this. It's electronic lock, and it went out. The keypad. All right. Replaced the batteries. Didn't have any help. I had to pay like $300 and some odd to have a locksmith come out to the house. Or I could just buy the lock, but I wasn't sure if it was going to work, et cetera, et cetera. So what do? This safe, my safe. Have one of the neighbors help me get it into the car and then take it over to the locksmith. And then it only cost me $125. But I got my stuff out of my safe place. Hey, Robert, welcome, buddy. So, Robert, the man who started Wilbur. I think next week we'll do a segment on adding details because I still got bags of detail stuff over there. And we'll just go around the layout and plopping stuff down from. One of the things Bernard should make for mini prints is mailboxes. Right, the old style, mailboxes. That'd be cool. Need more of them. I need more phone booths. You can always use fire extinguishers. So I got signs. I got tons of signs I haven't used. I got to paint some of those up. Oh, I forgot to show you what the slide looks like. See how mirror chromy that is now?
Yes.
So. The only thing I have a problem with is something that warped a little bit. The steps. But the resin used is pliable enough. I should be able to fix it once I get it to wherever I'm going to put it. And I think in my downtown suburban scene, I'm going to have a little parking. It can be there. What is a Pendle locomotive, huh? For those of us across the pond. Hey, Kyle, welcome. I have no idea what a Pendle locomotive is. Yeah. Isn't that the truth, Robert? Yeah, it was kind of an unwritten word. You don't go on some of the playground equipment during the summer. Save that for recess in grade school. Even got my little drinking fountain done. Got, the chrome receivers there. Oh, okay. It just goes back and forth. Okay, like my street scene or my trolley line. Yeah, eventually I will get to building this area down here where my workbench is. Off the lift out. Eventually. I still have detailing in Chicago. I still have this train sheds to do, track sheds to do there. I still have to paint the trolleys in the Chicago Transit Authority, CTA colors, which is cream and green instead of yellow and green. So I got all kinds of stuff. We have tons and tons and tons to do. Yeah, I know what a pendula is. Back and forth. Perpetual, well, not really perpetual motion due to friction, but without friction, it would be perpetual motion. And there's a pendulum type of clock that swings in different directions at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. Depending on the season, will be which way it's going. It's really neat to watch. All right. So if I find, hopefully, pretty soon I should buy some strip, those rolls of LED lights. I'll buy a roll of the warm white, the cuddles, and get my brass rod. And now the other issue is, do I want to try to feed the power up through the screw, all right, that holds the truck in place, or do I want to put some holes and put flexible enough wire that the truck will rotate freely? That's going to be another issue. So I probably will try the wire, 2 wires coming up on either end of the truck. That's flexible enough. It would not even have to be insulated wire. It can be just low, high gauge, in other words, thin stranded wire. So I could strip off the ends. The only problem then becomes you won't be able to take the trucks off easily anyway, without taking a wheel set off. I just got to play with that idea some. All right, hi. We'll see you later. I think Cody's his dog. He's going to go take a walk. Holes and wires. Okay, Lynn. That's probably the way I'll start out anyway, because it's far less complicated. So I'm not sure, if those screws are stainless, then you can't solder to them. Then you got to find little nuts. If the nuts are stainless, you can't solder them. You got to use a brass washer, and it just gets extremely complicated. Ciao, Anthony. Enjoy your lunch. I'm going to be signing off here in a couple minutes as well, so I can touch base with the physical therapist before he leaves. So anyway, hey, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. We'll cut her short a little bit, and then hopefully I'll have a tip of the day next week. Hopefully, no promises. Hello, GWR. You came on just in time for us to sign off. All right. Bye, everybody. Y'all have a great weekend.